Hello and welcome to another video and podcast from Fantasy Football Scout. My name is Joe and today I'm going to reveal my Game Week 10 team. I'll also be looking back on Game Week 9, see who the best premiums are to own over the next 3 game weeks. I'll also look ahead to the fixtures to come beyond Game Week 10. Before I do that, I just wanted to plug the Goals Imminent podcast that I do every Thursday with Mark Joblin at Fantasy Football Scout. We look at those underperforming, low-owned players for managers to consider to shake up the template. Another week of quite a few successes for us. Who will be due a goal or assist next week? Tune in to find out. Also, do press that like button, does help us out. Leave a 5-star review on if you're listening to the podcast version, and also do remember to subscribe so you can keep up to date with all our latest videos and podcasts. Okay, let's see how I got on in Game Week 9. So I took a bold move this week. I thought I needed a bit of a pep, so to speak, a Pep Guardiola. And so I put the triple captaincy on Haaland. So he got me 6 points. Do I regret the move? No, not at all. It was, in XG terms, his best game. Outside of the Ipswich game, that Southampton game was there for him to haul significantly. So I can consider myself quite unlucky. One of those things that you will hear from content creators. Good decision, bad outcome. But it wasn't I don't think it was a bad outcome. Now, I've been playing a long time. I'm a veteran of many a failed triple captaincy chip. Most notably, triple captaining Mane, and he was injured after a few minutes into a double game week. I got 3 points that week. I've ended up this week with 18 points. I remember Payet at West Ham, I think, got me 7 points with a goal in the final minute of the second game against Manchester United. So I ended up with 21 points then, and I was grateful to get it. So for me, 18 points, that's pretty much a good triple captaincy for me, so I'm okay with that. The key thing is, when you measure these sorts of chips, is you like with a bench boost, you say, is it the best bench boost I could have got? Is it the best triple captaincy I could have got? Well, no, not in terms of points. So the best one, I guess, would have been Haaland in Game Week 10 or one of his other 17 pointers. So I'm essentially 11 points down on that. So if you look at it in that terms, a lot of triple captaincy were used in Game Week 2. They can go, wow, we got the success, and yes, indeed, but I'm 11 points down on that. And look here, I've got Chris Wood's face on my team. I've got Chris Wood in my team. I've made more than that up just with Chris Wood already. So that's the kind of swings and roundabouts of it. So 11 points is good, but it's not absolutely season defining. And if you make a decision like getting Chris Wood over Calvert-Lewin, you've already made up that difference. So those that triple captained Haaland in Game Week 2, but went for Calvert-Lewin, not Chris Wood, in recent weeks, you've lost out. So we look at it that way. We're all going to lose out, and that's going to be a theme of this one, because we can't have them all. Saka, Son, Haaland, Palmer, Salah, it goes on and on. We can't have all of those players, but any one of them could kick off at any moment. All of them could, none of them could. It's really tough. You don't want to miss out on those points, but you're going to miss out on points. You've got to just suck it up. So this week, Haaland got me a goal. I've got Palmer in my team. So Palmer was new in for Saka. Saka almost matched Palmer anyway. Salah matched them as well. So all of those were good. So you've got those 3 or 4 amazing players who can be captained. And that's the decision I've got, and the decision you've got listening and watching to this. So anyway, I got 69 points, which is 15 above average. I got I got my 3rd best game week rank of the season, 1.2 million, and it was a rank boost to from 1.2 million to 927k. So I'm into the top million with this. Those who watched the FPL show I did on Monday with FPL General, his team reveal, we are both on exactly the same rank, so 549 points. I had Flecken in goal, 1 point. Alexander-Arnold, 1 point. Gabriel, 1 point. Lewis, hurrah, clean sheet. Johnson, 1 point. Lots of 1 points here. Rodgers, 1 point. Palmer in, but if I'd have gone for Saka, Salah, whoever I'd have gone for, done nothing. Whichever player, I would have got exactly the same. Brian Mbomo is a real hero here, 15 points. arguably the triple captaincy choice of this week. But, his final goal came late. Also, he got a bonus that would have gone to Wissa. Wissa had a goal wrongly credited as an own goal and to someone else, and it was actually, in fact, his goal. It should have been for him, so he would have overtaken Brian Mbomo for the bonus there, so he would have got marginally less. Chris Wood, the absolute hero, 13 points, still seen as unfashionable. Avoiding, you get a lot of content creators saying, why aren't we getting Chris Wood in? Just get Chris Wood in. Havertz got me 2 points. He's a bit of a disappointment at the moment, especially got 2 away games coming up, so he could be surplus to requirements. Haaland, 18 points, triple captaincy. You will look at that in different ways. I look at that as a success, but I've captained Mane in a double game week, so there we go. Verbruggen on my bench with 2 points. That was almost, if with Wolves' late comeback, it was almost another haul for Verbruggen on my bench. Semenyo 1 point, Mikalenko 2 points, and Greaves didn't play because he's not back till the end of November from injury. He's only 4 points. Okay, so big decision this week. Who to captain? Haaland has got Bournemouth. Salah has Brighton at home, but it's a home game. You've also got Palmer against Manchester United, but I don't know about Palmer now. I mean, Palmer's great, but the next two, Arsenal and a Manchester United free from the shackles of Ten Hag, I don't know. I think Old Trafford will be really up for that game with Van Nistelrooy in charge as the interim manager. I think the crowd are going to be really strong at Old Trafford there. I mean, I would be if I was a Manchester United fan. I'm more than qualified. I live in the southwest, so there we go. So I think there's a whole bunch of players, and you've got Saka away to Newcastle as well. So you've got lots and lots of issues there. So I've had a look at the Rate My Team tool, Fantasy Football Scout. It's in the members area there, so do have a look at membership offers there. So it's a sneak look at the sort of thing they do. So this is like, obviously it's a guessing game, but it's, lots of data is fed into this around expected stats, betting odds, all those kinds of things. And this is I've looked at who are the best performing players over the next 3 game weeks. So you're looking at game week 10, game week 11, and game week 12. And so you can see in here the sort of points they're expected to get as well. So Salah is top of this, and he's actually top by quite some way. So I don't have Salah in my team. I arguably should have perhaps got Salah in and downgraded, say, Havertz to Kuna or someone like that, and that would have got me huge. But that's with hindsight talking. I felt that Palmer against Newcastle at home was a strong fixture. As it turned out, he almost got a brace as well. But I think Salah, I mean, it's not just me. This is what the Rate My Team tool says. Salah, the best option there. So he's got Brighton, Villa and Southampton away in that mix. It's a really strong run of fixtures. He is the top captaincy choice in game weeks 10, game weeks 11. And game weeks 13, game weeks 12, sorry. So he's the guy. I've got to get him in, basically. This says I've got to get Mo Salah in. Next up is Haaland. Now this makes, do I keep Haaland or not? Well, Haaland's the second best. He is just behind him. He's got, so Mo Salah's total expected points 21.5. These are usually, you would expect a bit more, so that's good. Basically, anything over sort of 6 or 7, that they sort of could be getting into double-digit territory, basically. So these are very strong. Haaland 18.66, so he's behind Salah, but still very, very strong there, and a very good captaincy option this week. So Salah's top, obviously, in game week 10, 7.1. Haaland 6.18, so he's the next best. He's also very strong captain in game week 11, away to Brighton, but it is away. And in game week 12, 6.56 there. So this basically says to me, I should keep Haaland and I should look for another way to get Salah. And I think, unfortunately, that's going to be Palmer out. So that will seem crazy. But I think away to Manchester United and with the Arsenal game, game weeks 10 and 11, I'm not so keen on Palmer. But we can see in game week 12, so Mo Salah's still the best captain, away to Southampton. Great. Haaland is the third best, and the second best is Palmer. So it's game week 12 where I'll be looking to remove Haaland, I think. I was sort of gung-ho about that, but I think I mean, it's going to be fine returns, but I think I want to get the best captain. I think the best captain next 3 game weeks is Salah. I want to give myself the option possibly in game week 11 to go for Haaland instead of Salah. But I think Salah at home, even against Villa, I think that's good. So I want Salah in as the captain. This says to me Haaland should be kept. But it's the value though. So we've got a value column here, and Mo Salah's at 1.71, Palmer's at 1.62, Haaland dips down to 1.21. So spending that 15.4 million is not great value for my team. So you can easily go without Haaland if you're going to be captaining Salah, and also Haaland's going to be like, even with a dip in ownership, which it will be, he's 140% ownership. I've still got 40%. I've still got that 40% working against me of Haaland. So 40% of Haaland's goals working against me. But if he hauls, which this is saying he will do, away to Bournemouth, for example, away to Brighton, and indeed at Spurs, but I'm probably looking to get rid of him then. If he's going to haul, then you've got 140% of Haaland's scores against you. That's fine if Palmer can do well, but I don't know if these are two. I think Palmer can obviously do well. He can do on penalties. He's a great player, and he's someone that I want long term. But just in this particular little run of fixtures, the way my team is set up, and I'll show you my team in a minute. My structure is not quite how I want it for game week 12, so I want to sort of work towards that. The basic choice is one of Palmer and one of Haaland is going to go for Salah, and that is a tough choice. And I'm going to just have to do it. I'm just going to make that move and just go for that. And I'm minded to keep Haaland at the moment, even though that's keeping a player whose points are working against me, whereas I get all of Palmer's points. But going without Haaland, it's just that option now. One of the reasons I got Palmer this week, because I wasn't sure. I wasn't quite sure I wanted to get rid of Haaland this week. I'm fairly certain I want to get rid of him game week 12, and that helps. He's got Spurs. I mean, I think that's quite a good fixture for Haaland, but I think Palmer is better. Salah, I'd like to keep that week as well. I can then also have the option of perhaps moving Salah to Saka, but if I'm selling Haaland now, I've got acres of cash. I've got so much cash. So there, I can move one of my cheaper midfielders there. Other players of note that you should be aware of that are going to have a strong few game weeks. Son, he's got that Ipswich game in game week 11. He's a good captaincy shout that week. Not the best though. Salah's still better according to this. But I think he is the second best. You've got the likes of Eze as well, appearing on our goals imminent. I mentioned that earlier. He has got a return. He could have got another one. You've got a lot of Tottenham coverage there. Players like Maddison, Darwin, these rotation risks, I think. Saka's quite far down there though, so Saka's not a priority for me. I do think he's a very good player. He's a long-term hold, really. I'd like to get into a situation where I don't have to keep ducking in and out of Saka. Just keep him in my team and just forget him. Saka, Palmer, Salah, and then when Haaland becomes essential, I can move Salah out up to Haaland and use that money with 2 free transfers up to Haaland. That's the sort of vision I want for sort of game week 12, 13, 14-ish and a long term. Other ones notable here, Brian Mbomo, Fernandes at Manchester United could be shrewd. Lots of Manchester United fans, they will be keen to tap into their good players from their team. Alexander-Arnold, very strong amongst defenders. I think he's the best. He's the highest rated defender in terms of points. The next 3, he's in my team. Chris Wood is the highest rated forward. That is cheap. So Solanke's rated higher than him. Darwin, I don't like them anyway. But Chris Wood, 6.3 is high. Raul at Fulham is next to him, and then Kuna. So they're all quite they're quite similar. For some reason here, I've got Chris Wood has gone down a bit. Oh, I know why that is for game week 12. So Chris Wood would go on my bench in game week 12. There, so he's Kuna looks the best over the 3 if you're just going to play one. So I'm minded to get Kuna in if he's fit. There was talk of him with an ice pack on his leg, so we look out team news on Friday for this. Okay, here is my game week 10 team reveal. I've got a big picture of Salah next to it. So obviously this isn't my team reveal because I haven't made my moves yet. So this is me talking about what moves I'm thinking about making. And what I'll do is after I've just gone through my team for the benefit of those listening to the podcast version, I'll go through the fixtures and I've got my usual notes at the top, really. So, sort of what I'm thinking of there. So, I've got Flecken in goal, away to Fulham, pretty okay, but I don't expect a clean sheet ever here. Alexander Arnold, home to Brighton, great. Gabriel, he could be fit away to Newcastle, so I don't mind if he's not because I've got Mikalenko as my first defender sub away to Southampton. Arguably, I could play him instead anyway. Lewis away to Bournemouth. I'd ideally like Gabriel to be fit though, because if Lewis doesn't, I think Lewis, if he doesn't start, I think he might come on. I think he's needed at some point. Johnson at home to Villa for Spurs. I'm okay with that. Palmer currently away to Manchester United, but he could become Salah. Brian and Bomo away to Fulham, fine. Rodgers, I would have to play here away to Tottenham. I actually don't think that's too bad for Rodgers. I've benched one of his goals recently. He's still attacking. Tottenham's still conceding, so still a good player here. Chris Wood at home to West Ham, brilliant. He's got a flag on him at the moment, so check on team news there just to check that he's okay. I don't think it's serious. Havertz away to Newcastle. I'm not so keen on that at the moment, but he's a good striker for a good team against Newcastle who are conceding, so it's not the end of the world if I keep him. And I've got Haaland, currently the armband on him, but that's going to change I think because Salah's the best captain this week. But Haaland good to own or good to ditch. This is the decision we've got. I did a wildcard video this week. No Haaland in that. Have a look at that. No Haaland. So I've really, really focused on that midfield there. I've got Verbruggen away to Liverpool. Yeah, justified sub there. Semenyo at home to Man City. I'm okay with that. He could do all right. Man City are conceding. And then obviously Mikalenko and Greaves not doing much there. So some tough decisions to make. We're all going through this. We're all agonising about this. Sometimes with these types of decisions, I like to just make that move. I did it this week with the triple captain. I just thought, well, this is an opportunity. I'm going to make that move now. Also, I thought Palmer, even for a 1 week punt, at home to Newcastle, I thought that was a good move. Okay, here is the fixtures. And with my usual notes at the top as well. You can see it's complicated for Game Week 10. So Game Week 10, these are my options. And please do leave some comments below which you think I should go for, or whether what you're doing, whether you're keeping Haaland, ditching him, whether you're focusing on Salah, whether you think Salah's the best captaincy this week, or Haaland. Anyway, Haaland and Semenyo out for Kuna and Salah. There we go. Can do that. I like that. If Kuna's not fit, he would be Jimenez, or Strand Larsen even. But I think Jimenez would be second there. Wolves fixtures are Crystal Palace, Southampton, Fulham, Bournemouth, Everton, West Ham. Fulham's fixtures are pretty strong. Brentford at home, Crystal Palace, Wolves. Before it gets a bit mixed with Tottenham. Actually, that's okay. Brighton. And it's Arsenal in Game Week 15 is the first sort of really bad one for their attackers, that is. Or I could do Palmer and Havertz to Kuna and Salah. I'm minded to do that one. That's probably the one I'm going to do, because as we saw on that Rate My Team, and I think all the other models, all the other metrics, all the other people guessing, Salah on paper next three with Brighton at home, Aston Villa at home, Southampton away. He's got the best fixtures and is the best captain, and he is a reliable captain at the moment. Also, he's so he's getting the bonus as well, because he's taking his big chances. Haaland's missing them. Also, he gets more points as a midfielder. He gets clean sheet points. If Liverpool keep a clean sheet, gets one there, and also gets an extra point for a goal. My other option, which I don't like, I've run this through various models on Rate My Team, which is Semenyo and Havertz out to Jimenez and Diaz, and then I captain Haaland. The models don't like this as much. I'm marginally down here. I'm missing out on Salah. They don't like Diaz every week, and I don't either. So I don't think I would do this one. But I might. if we get some injury news. I'm recording this also on Wednesday morning. There are some midweek matches in the cup, so I don't know. So by the time you watch this, it could be injury updates. A lot of players I mentioned could be injured. Who knows? But obviously, so be aware of that. Game week 11, I'd be looking to hold. So whichever I do, I've got 2 free transfers, by the way. So none of these were a hit. 2 free transfers. I would use them back down to 0 again. Game week 11, I want to build that up again. So I would hold in game week 11, because in game week 12 I'd be wanting to make 2 moves. I think Haaland out makes sense. He's got Tottenham, Liverpool, Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace in game week 15, but they don't scream captaincy there. However, Palmer has got Leicester away, Aston Villa at home, Southampton away during that time, also Tottenham away. Salah himself has got, for game week 12, who looks the best captain, I think, away to Southampton. He does have Man City in game week 13, so that's the issue there with Salah, but I'd be happy to keep him. They've got Newcastle away. I don't think that's too bad for Salah, and Everton away. That's fine as well. So I think they're good fixtures. As I said, Arsenal's fixtures improved then. I'd like to get to a setup with Salah, Saka and Palmer, which is, there's these 4 players you want, and so I want to try and get as many as possible. I put something on X about this on Twitter, and someone said, why can't you get 4? It's not impossible. You can, have you got not enough money? Yeah, of course I haven't got enough money. But no one has. And he showed me his team, and to be honest, he's flying high. But it looked awful. I would hate to have that team, even though it's miles, well into the top 100k. So he's doing well. So what do I know? But I just wouldn't feel comfortable with that, because you're relying on absolutely awful players, 4 million defenders, pretty much week in, week out. And I just don't think, I just couldn't do that. You're relying on those cheap strikers week in, week out. And they have been delivering, but will they keep delivering? Whereas he has got those. So what do I know? They're the ones that are winning at the moment. But I do think as many of them as you can get. I think Saka, Palmer, Salah would be what I'd be hoping for. But I do think Haaland is good for the next 2 or 3. So I'd be minded to keep him then. It's tough. It's tough decisions, isn't it? We're all going completely different ways. Some have defied you can't have them all by having them all, but it comes at a cost. Some, like me, are just simply accepting they can't have them all, but are trying to sort of juggle around them. Do you know what? Some people are just saying, just whatever. Whoever you've got, just stick with it. If you've got Saka, why keep moving Saka out? Saka, Salah, Palmer, game week 9, all got the same, pretty much. Pretty much the same score. So just stick with those ones. But some tough choices. It makes this season, this is a real challenge this season, but it makes it much more interesting. So whatever we get at the end of the season, we can look back on this season and go, it wasn't boring at any moment. And I think that's a good thing for the game. Anyway, that's my rambling thoughts. I hope that's helped you. Currently, I'm minded to do Palmer and Havertz out to Kuna and Salah. I could do Haaland and Semenyo to Kuna and Salah. They're the 2 options, really. I'm minded to get Palmer out just because Haaland seems stronger. But I will want Haaland in game week Palmer in game week 12. So maybe I should just rip the Band-Aid off and just remove Haaland now and just be done with it, because his 15.4 million currently is not good value. Thanks a lot for your time. Take care. Good luck with whatever decisions you do. And I'll see you again next week.